Hi, welcome to the Early Years Toolkit, and in this video we're going to answer, what is a Montessori school? So in a Montessori school you'll find that it's very child-led. It encourages sort of self-directed learning in a very hands-on way. We'll come on to the resources they use later. And children are encouraged to think for themselves and work at their own pace, which in turn encourages independence. And this encouraging independence is quite a big theme in a Montessori school. In fact, Maria Montessori said, "Never help a child with a task he feels he may succeed at." I'm sure she meant it for girls as well. These schools are built on the belief and understanding that children are natural learners. They have an innate desire to learn, and if they're allowed to follow their instincts, they'll be constantly learning and absorbing information as they go through life. Which is why the teachers in a Montessori school don't control the child's learning like they might in a traditional school, but rather they're there to guide the child through observing and understanding what this child's needs are for their development. Now, Montessori is generally for the early years, but there are in the UK now primary schools and even a handful of secondary schools. In the US you'll find a lot more of both. So Maria Montessori herself was one of the first female doctors in Italy. She specialised in paediatrics and psychiatry, and in the early 20th century, following thousands of observations on children with additional needs and ways to effectively educate them, she had great success there, so started work on a scientific and innovative approach to early years in general, early education in general, which is the one we know today. So let's have a look at a Montessori classroom. Well, actually, let's talk about it because you can't see it. So a Montessori classroom will have lots of specially designed Montessori resources. Now, some of the early ones were designed by Maria Montessori herself, and of course we've had lots more added since, but they all fit in with the 5 curriculum areas of a Montessori school. And they are, number 1, practical life. So practical life means care for yourself. So that is the ability to pour your own drinks, to do up your buttons, to brush your teeth. There's care for the environment, so that's tidying your things away, cleaning, gardening, picking up litter. Grace and courtesy is another one, so that's your manners and your social interactions.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama.
And it's also your control of movement, so your motor skills. Another curriculum area is sensorial. So lots of the resources will be designed to encourage the child's understanding of dimension, colour, texture, weight, which is what you find in the other curriculum areas. So the 3rd curriculum area is maths. But the maths resources, like the number rods, which are, well, actually I'll just show you, it's easier, isn't it? So as you can see with the number rods, they can be ordered by size physically, but also they are divided up with different colours to help with an extra element of the difference in size. Similarly with literacy, phonics are taught with the famous sandpaper letters. So as you can see here, the letters are written down and the child can understand what one looks like, but the letters themselves are made with sandpaper. So as a child feels the letter, they start to draw with their finger exactly how the letter is written, drawn. And the 5th curriculum area is culture. So through being exposed to other ways of life, through posters on the walls, pictures, discussions, children can make sense of the diverse world that we live in. And Maria Montessori also developed 5 key principles that define this method. Number 1 is respect. So teachers instill respect and kindness into children, not into them, in them, by showing them kindness and showing them respect. And they do this by not interrupting their concentration, by allowing them to think for themselves, to explore, and by modelling respectful behaviour. So that would be in peaceful conflict resolution or something. Number 2 is absorbent minds. So like we said, this is the understanding that children are born ready and eager to learn, and they do so by using their senses to explore environments and constantly absorbing all the information from things they interact with. Number 3 is sensitive periods. So the Montessori approach believes that there are certain times during the day, certain periods, where a child is more ready to learn certain skills. And it's the teacher's role to observe the child and know when this period is, and give them the freedom, give them the space, give them the time to complete the activities during this time of optimal learning. Number 4 is the prepared environment. So the prepared environment means one that is prepared to allow for a child's independence. And some Montessori websites claim that the prepared environment is one where teachers will have observed the children, decided which resources would be best to further their development, and so prepare them and make them available for the children to explore in future. And the 5th key principle is auto-education. So this is the understanding that children have the ability to educate themselves. And in fact, Maria Montessori said, the greatest sign of a teacher is to be able to say, the children are now working as if I did not exist. There are a few other elements to a Montessori approach as well, and that is, one is mixed age learning. They believe that children will develop best through mixed ages. So in the early years that would be 0 to 3, and then another class of 3 to 6 year olds. And this is developed on the understanding that the younger ones will learn from the older ones, and the older ones will learn how to be mentors and look after younger ones. And there's also no competition set up in these schools, so right the way through there'll be no extrinsic rewards, there's no grading, and there's also no punishments. And it's the combination of all of these elements used that Montessori believed was the correct way to, or the most effective way to educate children. However, something to be careful of and to look out for is the fact that the Montessori name itself, Montessori, is not copyrighted. So anyone can claim to be a Montessori school. They could be using just a couple of these elements or none of them at all and claim to be a Montessori school. There are also very few long-term studies that explore the benefits of a Montessori education, and those that do study this actually only use one Montessori school in their analysis, which is quite problematic because the outcomes for these children might not be the school itself. If it's one school that's being used, it's likely that they live in the same area, so the demographic of the parents is likely to be pretty similar. The parents also are all of the shared understanding that this alternative approach is the correct one, and are also all able to pay the fees that a Montessori school requires. Having said that, globally there are tens of thousands of Montessori schools in the UK, over 700, I think this was on the last census, and 90% of those were good or outstanding schools, so I think they're onto something. Let us know in the comments your experiences of Montessori education. Are you a teacher there? Have you sent your children there? Did you go to a Montessori school? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll see you again. Thanks.